For my report, I want to go back a couple weeks. We voted to do something nice for the kids who won a great, tremendous victory. We wanted to do something to help get them a memento and help buy some rings for them. After we all voted in favor of that, it really burned it in my conscience for a while, and I was wondering why. And so I went out and I looked at Colonel Davy Crockett's speech to Congress, and it brought back a spark that I need to bring up tonight. And so I was sworn into office with the following words: I solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity, so help me God. Thus, I took an oath to manage the district's money in a fair and equitable and principled fashion, but on January 21st, 2020, I made a mistake. I voted for an appropriation from the public treasury, which was unconstitutional, inequitable, and morally wrong. My error has and may cost the students, the citizens of our district, the past and present and future board members in multiple ways, and my action demonstrated that I either do not have the capacity to understand the Constitution or that I lack the honesty and firmness to be guided by it. The Constitution, to be worth anything, must be held sacred and rigidly observed in all its provisions, small or large. And so I erred a small way, and I don't like that. So to be specific, where does one find in the Constitution any authority to give away the public money in tokens of commendation for athletic achievements? Consider that the man who wields power and misinterprets it is more dangerous the more honest he is. Visualize a man who honestly believes that certain money ought to be given to those who he deems worthy will fight all the harder to levy the people's money to satisfy his narrowly minded but ostensibly honest beneficence towards some. So upon reconsideration, I acknowledge that I do not have the right to indulge my sense of appreciation nor impose my generosity at the expense of anybody but myself. A noble cause can become destructive when it's under the direction of a misguided politician as me. So I ask for your forgiveness. My intention was to showcase our hardworking student athletes as models for others and to honor them by using the public's money to purchase a token of accomplishment. But unfortunately, this likely has the unintended consequences of diminishing the quiet and unseen accomplishments of quiet and unseen parents, grandparents, and others. Our student athletes and coaches achieved their goals by hard work, sacrifice, and adherence to the rules. I bent those rules by appropriating money from one citizen and transferring it to another. This is stealing. It is inequitable. It sets a poor precedent. It discredits the restraint demonstrated previously by those public servants who did not act capriciously and who refused to purchase favor with other people's money. Again, I apologize. Since the Constitution neither defines contributions towards mementos of accomplishment nor stipulates an amount, politicians like me are at liberty to give away anything and everything which they believe or profess to believe is worthy, and to any amount they think is proper. Doing so opens a wide door for fraud and corruption and favoritism on the one hand, and for stealthily robbing the people on the other. Individuals may donate as much of their own money as they please. Politicians do not have the right to seize a dollar of the public largesse for that purpose. And so, in closing, I wrote this before I knew that the ring amount had already been covered. So I was going to say I urge my colleagues to rescind our well-intentioned but unsound motion and to strive for a more conscientious and appropriate way to support the great accomplishments of our student population, both now and the future. So the long and short of it is, I erred. I was moved, by the generosity of the moment. I wanted to do something great for the students and help buy a ring. The money was gotten through donations, so the school board doesn't have to bring that money forward. But I will do my level best to not allow myself to be moved again.
We understand your,
Can you email that to Mrs. Zisha?
Sure.
Do that way she could have it for the record.
I'm sorry.
We understand
You can
your-
say I spent a lot of time with this. Really tore at my conscience. I don't want to be this way.
we understand,
Yeah.
and we are also happy to report that the district doesn't really have to contribute any funds to the rings
Exactly.
because all the money's been raised.
Great.
So that's
Thank
great
you.
And
news.
that came from Mr. Petroselli.
Mr. McIntyre.